I honestly did not want to make this video at first, but what needs to be said, needs to be said. For those who don't know, the Hazbin Hotel and Helluva fandom has been dividing non-stop over the past few months, and has been becoming a little difficult to tolerate for multiple reasons. Why, you may ask? Well, there's multiple reasons why, to be honest. Let's start off with Hazbin Hotel, because that was the show that basically started this amazing Hellaverse. I honestly love the Hazbin Hotel pilot, and am very excited for the upcoming A24 TV show. Speaking of which though, that is where one of the many issues that's dividing the fandom begins. More specifically, the unnecessary backlash of Lucifer's redesign. Ever since his redesign was first revealed, a lot of people have been not only complaining about it for the most stupidest reasons ever, but they've also been using this as a reason and excuse to straight up attack Vibzy and her crew, saying that all her male designs were quote-unquote purposely designed to be Tumblr sexy men, or that her character should not look or move cartoonishly and either move more naturally and or look more dark and detailed. And unfortunately, this isn't the first time people have tried attacking her. For the past few years, many people, especially from the cartoon community, have been trying to falsely accuse Vibzy of drama and such that isn't even true. And this isn't the first time the cartoon community has tried doing something like this to the creator of a famous show they didn't like. They've also been doing this to creators like Rebecca Sugar, Ian Jones-Quartey, you name it. I won't go over all their examples, but I'll go over Ian's. Back when OKKO ran on Cartoon Network, the cartoon community has made a lot of false accusations of Ian Jones-Quartey, more specifically over how he designs the female characters in the show. I'm honestly glad I'm not a part of the cartoon community, or any fandom in general. I know most fandoms have only toxic sides and good sides, but I honestly feel like that's not entirely the case for the cartoon community. Cause for me, it's mostly filled with a lot of toxic, and if we're being completely honest here, narcissistic people. I mean, there may be some good or sane people in the cartoon community, but not a lot compared to other fandoms and communities. Anyhow, back to Hazbin Hotel. Another issue that's been dividing the fandom is how many people have been trying to claim that Angel Dust would quote-unquote make a better main character instead of Charlie, because Charlie is quote-unquote too happy and positive all the time. Look, I understand that people want to see Angel Dust's character grow, but that doesn't automatically mean he should take Charlie's place as the main character, because Charlie does have moments where she's not happy all the time. Yes, she can be super positive and naive, but she can also get very stressed and panic at times too, unsure that if her dreams of rehabilitating sinners would actually work. And Vibzy Pop herself stated in a Twitter thread that the Hazbin Hotel TV series will be a female-focused show, meaning it will mainly focus on Charlie and Vaggie and their character growth. That doesn't automatically mean they won't focus on Angel Dust's character growth along with the others, but I think you all get the point. I just hope that when the Hazbin Hotel TV series comes out, these issues and such will be resolved. But that's unfortunately unlikely. Now for the Helluva boss issues, and get ready, because this is where things get more stressful and irritating. Now, when Season 1 of Helluva Boss first came out, there weren't too much complaints, just small ones like voice actor changes from the pilot, which everyone eventually got used to over time. However, the issues that have divided the fandom really began with Season 2. I honestly feel like the non-stop hate that the first few episodes of Season 2 have been getting so far is really unnecessary and unjustified. I mean, it's absolutely okay if people hate these episodes or just don't like it in general, but I feel like a lot of people are just copying off of each other's reasons to hate these episodes, especially from critics and cartoon community members. Starting off with Season 2, Episode 1, The Circus. I honestly thought it was really nice that we got to know Stolas' origins and how he met Blitz, and a bit of the Ozzy's aftermath too. However, I honestly am tired of people claiming how this episode quote-unquote ruined Stella's character just to make Stolas x Blitz look good, or that Stella and Payman did nothing wrong with how they treated Stolas, and that Stella quote-unquote should have been sympathetic. I mean, come on! These people are getting this easily upset because they wanted a domestic/emotional abuser to be sympathetic? I mean, I can understand that in this episode she was shown as just an abuser with no redeeming qualities that Osmodius, Fizzarali, Verosica, and Stryker had. Yet that is. But thinking that a literal abuser should be sympathetic is just nuts! Heck, I even encountered someone who thought Stella being sympathetic was quote-unquote better writing. Need I say more? But to be honest here, Stella fans have been very problematic and toxic. They constantly claim that Stella was a quote-unquote complex character in Season 1 before they ruined her. But in actuality, Stella didn't even have much character until Season 2. Next up, we have Season 2, Episode 2, Seeing Stars. Now, I will admit that this is a flawed episode, but I honestly don't think it's entirely as bad as many people say it is. It was nice to see how Blitz first met Luna, and that moment with Luna and Octavia at the end was pretty touching. But unfortunately, this episode has gotten the most hate and negativity out of all the Season 2 episodes so far. Again, it's okay if people don't like or hate this episode, but I feel like people have been focusing too much on all the bad elements of this episode that there's many things that they either don't realize, don't acknowledge, or even don't remember. First of all, to all the people who say that Vivzy Pop rushed this episode, yes, this episode was pretty fast-paced, but it was not rushed! Like all the episodes of Helluva Boss and such, Vivzy and her crew slowly took their time writing and animating this episode for months. So despite the fast pacing, they did not rush this because they couldn't post Season 1 Episode 8. It honestly gets annoying that people are falsely assuming such things. Secondly, to all the people complaining that they ignored the events of Ozzy's, yes, they didn't talk about it much, but that doesn't automatically mean they ignored the events. They just didn't talk about it much because of the emergency at hand and that they were worried for Octavia. And there was one detail that Blitz and Stolas were still affected by the events of Ozzy's, and that is Stolas not calling Blitz Blitzy at all. Next up, all the claims that Stolas quote-unquote constantly ignores Octavia all the time are absolutely not true! That was just one scene in the beginning of the episode, where Stolas was angrily on the phone with Stella. Stolas may not be the best father to Octavia, but he's at least better than what Payman was to younger Stolas.
I'm so good at daddying.
He cares for Octavia deeply, checked on her to see if she was okay in Season 2, Episode 1, and unlike Payman, Stolas not only didn't betroth Octavia at a young age, but most importantly, he also physically went with her to Lululand instead of magically seeing everything through a magical mirror. Finally, the whole Luna being a contradiction to her message to Octavia stuff is just so annoying. Fans need to stop expecting Blitz and Luna to fully hug or resolve their issues so soon. Things like that take time in media. You can't always expect instant character development from the get-go. I'm just sick of this impatience from many of these fans. And I honestly blame streaming services for releasing whole seasons of shows at once for causing this kind of impatience in people. Anyhow, yes, Luna kicking Blitz was unnecessary, but that was only Luna's way of saying to Blitz that now wasn't the time for a wholesome reunion. As if the Luna prejudice was bad enough already, this just makes it even more annoying. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the unnecessary hate and prejudice that Luna has been getting lately. There have been multiple posts, comments, and such from people all across social media who want Luna to suffer an even worse punishment than Blitz did at Ozzy's just because she's a moody hellhound with anger issues, or as some like to say it, objectively worse than Blitz. Blitz has done far worse to others than Luna ever has in her life. Yet people still want Luna abused or dead, even though she hasn't done anything just as bad as what Blitz has done to many people that he's met in his life. And the fact that these same people who think that Luna's a vile and abusive villain who needs to suffer just because she has relationship issues with Blitz are also the same people who think Stella did nothing wrong even though she's the actual abusive one to Stolas is not only ironic, but also very hypocritical of these people and says a lot about who they are. Overall, while Seeing Stars wasn't a perfect Helluva Boss episode, it doesn't automatically mean that Vibsy Pop is becoming a bad writer, storyteller, or creator, or that Season 2 of Helluva Boss will only get worse, as many cartoon community members have been falsely claiming for the past few months. Like I said, it's okay to hate this episode, but the fact that people are saying such things like this about both the episode and Vibsy herself is just so annoying and needs to stop! And finally, the recent episode. Episode 3, X's and Oo's. Thankfully, this episode didn't draw as much drama or issues as the last 2 episodes of Season 2 did so far, and it was honestly the best episode in Season 2 in my opinion. Unfortunately, this episode has still caused the fandom to be divided once more. How, you may ask? Well, recently, a lot of critics and others have been trashing Millie and saying she needs to be quote-unquote fixed and improved, or that she needs a tragic backstory or drama because they think she only exists to be Moxie's wife and nothing else. This is one of many reasons why I honestly despise most critics these days, because many of them lack understanding of many things. Thankfully, Vibsy Pop herself has made a thread on Twitter, talking about why Millie isn't as bad and poorly written as these critics say she is. She's more than just Moxie's wife. She is resourceful, has strong family memories, a past of violence, sibling rivalry, you name it. To put it short, Millie has a lot of personality traits, but it seems that a lot of people ignore that. And to be honest, just because she's excited and happy most of the time, it doesn't automatically make her a shallow character. Because not every character in Helluva Boss or any piece of fictional media needs a traumatic backstory or angst to be compelling. I am excited to potentially see a Millie-centered episode, but I feel like everything these critics are trying to claim about Millie is really unjustified. Overall, it really makes me sad that critics, the cartoon community, and all kinds of ignorant people are further dividing the Hellaverse fandom over things like these. As I've said probably for the billionth time by now, it's okay if people hate Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. After all, we as human beings are made to think differently. But it just pains me to see something I love get unjustified hate and backlash caused by critics and cartoon community members, who, if we're being honest here, only want to sway people's interest and get them to copy what they say and think. Because many critics these days honestly just only do 100% nitpicking and nothing else. I'm not saying all critics and reviewers today are like this, but it's the case for many of them. I'll still watch and try to love the Hellaverse series with all my heart, but I don't plan on further associating myself with its now divided and corrupt fandom, especially those fans who hate the newer episodes just because their unhealthy pairings didn't come true. Because overall, both the fandom, these critics, and the cartoon community's recent actions to stir drama against Vibsy have been making it very difficult for me to enjoy the Hellaverse series. And in all honesty, this isn't the first time something like this has happened to me. This has also happened to me for Steven Universe, SMG4, the Pokemon games, and a few more. To put it short, fandom's critics, or pretty much drama in general, can make it hard to enjoy a piece of media. With that said though, for anyone who hasn't seen either of the Hellaverse series and wants to get into them, or any piece of fictional media in general, let me give you all some advice. Screw the fandom, screw the audience, and especially screw the critics. Watch or play something for yourself, try to enjoy it if you can, and form your own opinions. It's like Devil Artemis once said from one of his community posts, don't let anyone sway your interest if you love something so much, because those critics and such are not you. Only you guys can control what you think and feel. If you like a certain movie, TV show, game, or any media, be genuine about it. And if something popular or famous isn't your cup of tea, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with saying it's not for me. Don't be a sheep when you can damn well be the lion.
Stupid idiot!
What? You're the sun to my rainy day.